Je, wewe umekuwa ukipitia changamoto ya maumivu katika korodani na haujui namna gani ya kufanya? Sasa leo na kufundisha mazoezi maalum ambayo ukiyafanya yatasaidia kuondoa maumivu kwenye korodani. Na haya mazoezi ni muhimu sana kwa sababu unapofanya haya mazoezi, basi moja kwa moja kila ambacho kinasababisha unapata maumivu kwenye korodani basi kitaondoka. So ni muhimu kayafanyia kazi. Kama ukikutana maybe na changamoto, unakuta mtu maumivu hayakatiki, umeshatumia njia zote unakuta maumivu hayakatiki, basi haya mazoezi ni muhimu sana kuyafanya. Sasa unachokifanya, unalala kama huyu jamaa anavyoelekeza hapa. Unalala, then ukishalala unaweka miguu yako ukutani, au unaweza kaweka sehemu yote, kaweka ukutani hivi hivi, halafu unakunja miguu yako style kama hii. Unafanya vile vile the way anafanyaje, anaelekeza.
Wing them outward so they're wider than your hips. Just take your feet, press them into the door. So if we were to flip this, it would almost look like I'm doing a squat. You should also feel a gentle stretch them outward so they're wider than your hips. Just take your feet, press them into the door. So if we were to flip this, it would almost look like I'm doing a squat. You should also feel a gentle stretch right here on the inner part of your thigh that goes towards the groin. That would be the adductor muscles that we really want to focus on. If you don't feel it, just keep winging your knees outward until you do. So once we feel that gentle stretch, what we're going to do now is focus on our breathing. Just take a deep breath in.
Umeona? Yani jambo ambalo unabidi ufocus ni focus kwenye deep breathing. Umesikia? Usipumue sana, wala usipumue haraka haraka. Pumua tu kawaida. Una focus kwenye pumzi.
And then all the way out, just allowing this whole area to relax. Don't try to...
Na lazima yani uruhusu mwili wako wote urelax. Yani utulie. Yani kusiwe na disturbance yoyote. Kwenye mwili wako kusiwe na disturbance yoyote. Kwa hiyo inabidi uruhusu mwili wako urelax.
Tense any muscles, including your stomach or your core. So what I would do is just take a couple deep breaths in until you get a handle on this. And once everything is nice and relaxed, then we're going to build upon this. So the first area that we're going to focus on is around our tailbone and our anus. For a lack of a better term, imagine trying to pass wind or try to defecate. But what you're going to do is just press into that area and tense up the muscles around the tailbone and the anus. Hold that comfortably for about 5 seconds and then release. And while you do this, again, try to control your breathing, but keep doing that over and over again for about 5 to 10 repetitions. Next, let's focus a little bit more on the scrotum and the testicles. What I'm going to do this time around is imagine myself urinating, but I'm going to clamp off, trying to squeeze that area around the scrotum to stop the flow of urination. So clamp down, and then what you're going to do is try to draw your testicles upward towards the body. It should really engage that area. Only go for a light activation too. Don't try to cause any more discomfort. Hold that for 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat that 10 times. But go through both of these movements. You're probably going to find that one just offers a little bit more relief. At that point, I would just try to throw more repetitions in until everything is nice and loose.
Hasa hapa kitu anachojaribu kuelezea, yani inabidi ukae kwenye hiyo staili, umeona, at least kwa dakika 5 huko hivyo. Na jambo ambalo anaelezea ni kuhusu faida ya kukaa hivyo. Kwa hiyo kama uelewi anachokielezea, usiwe na wasiwasi. Kitu ambacho anaelezea ni faida ya kukaa staili kama hiyo. Inasaidia nini kwenye korodani, inaondoa kitu gani, yani ndo anaelezea. So wewe kitu ambacho unabidi ufocus ni una focus kwenye deep breathing na style kama unakaa kwenye hiyo style,
or you're not getting any more improvement. And this is a great exercise that you can do daily just to help quickly reduce tension and hopefully get a lot of pain relief. This exercise is what I call the modified.
Sasa hili ni zoezi la pili. Kwa hiyo zoezi la kwanza ndo lile, na hili ni zoezi la pili.
Butterfly. You can do this one in bed or on a floor. Just lie flat on your back like this. The first movement, we're going to target a little bit more into our hips and pelvic floor. Put your legs together, have your knees roughly bent at 90.
Unaona anavyofanya, inabidi ufanye hivyo hivyo. Unaweka miguu pamoja, ukishaweka pamoja, hakikisha huku, yani the way alivyo hivyo. Hii style anayokai, inabidi ukae style hiyo hiyo pia.
90 degrees. Take your hands cupped right in front of your knees. What you want to do is slowly bring your knees towards your chest until you feel a gentle stretch form in your glutes, your buttocks, that works into your hips, into your pelvic floor. With all of these movements, we just want a light, gentle stretch. If you start to notice any more pain in your groin or testicles, back off slightly. But once we feel that comfortable stretch, we're going to hold this for 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this 5 times. And with each repetition,
mona na yani hilo zoezi unafanya kwa dakika 5. Una relax, then una okay, zoezi la tatu.
During this exercise, you also want to gently squeeze your glutes. From here, what I'm going to do is rock my pelvis and my hips forward. So imagine my tailbone right here, and I'm just curling it upward like this, trying to curl it towards my belly button. You know you're doing this one right because you'll start to feel your butt lift up slightly off the bed or the floor. But the more that you build into this, the more that you should really feel the abs right here working down into the pelvic floor start to activate. Hold this comfortably for a couple seconds and then go in reverse. So you're going to take your tailbone this time around and just gently press it down into the bed or the floor. You should feel the muscles start to activate just a little bit differently. Again, hold that one comfortably for a second or two. And then from there, you're just going to repeat this over and over again, rocking your pelvis forward and backward. I like to do this about 10 to 15 times in both directions. But afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like it's pretty loose, move on to the second movement. But if it feels like it needs some more repetitions and this is really helping out, throw in as many as you like. Just keep building into it as much as you can. So the second movement is called the butterfly. For this one, what we're going to do is take our feet and just gently press them together like this, and then you're going to take your knees and wing them downward towards the floor as much as you can. And also, don't brace your core muscles or the glutes with this one. This is more of a gentle range of motion stretch, so we just want everything nice and relaxed. But the more that you bring your knees downward towards the floor, the more that you're going to feel a deep stretch form on the inner part of the leg right here over the adductors that works towards the groin into the hips, but really focus on feeling it into the groin. Once you do feel that, hold this comfortably for about 2 to 3 seconds, and then what you're going to do like a butterfly is just wing up like this. More energy. At that point, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So now let's turn our attention towards the adductors.
Zoezi lingine ambalo litakusaidia kuondoa maumivu hili hapa. Kwa hiyo naomba sikiliza kwa makini ili usiweze kukosea. Na hili zoezi ni muhimu sana, especially kama wewe una maumivu ambayo hayataki kuondoka. Pia especially wewe kama una varicocele au hydrocele, basi inabidi hili zoezi ulizingatie sana.
Which are muscles that run on the inner part of your leg, and when they become strained and inflamed, they cause a lot of inner thigh pain that works towards the groin. So here's a couple exercises that are going to focus on lengthening and strengthening these muscles. The first exercise, we're going to lie on our side in bed or on a floor. So to get into position, I just like to support my head with my hand like this, have my body in a nice straight line, and I'm going to have the most painful side on the bottom. From here, this top leg is going to go over the other side's knee, just like this for support. So this bottom leg, the painful side, we're going to try to keep it straight at the knee as much as possible. And what you're going to do is just slowly raise your foot upward towards the ceiling. The more that you go up, the more that you're going to feel a deep activation of the muscles on the inner part of your thigh, but really focus on feeling it into the groin. Hold this comfortably for 3 to 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat this 10 to 15 times. And with each repetition, try to build into it just a little bit more. Afterwards, see how you feel. If you feel like it's helping out and you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. But this is how we can really take it to the next level. Put our leg through different motions out just a little bit more until you can't go out any further. You're going to notice that one certain spot, like let's say right here for me, just hits that tightness the most around the groin. At that point, on your back, right next to a smooth wall.
Okay, zoezi lingine ndo hilo ambalo unakuwa umelalia mgongo, then miguu yako inakuwa ukutani.
And get your butt as close to the wall as possible. From here, you're just going to gently press your heels into the wall and try to have your knees as straight as possible. Put your hands off to your side. Exercise too is it's going to really show you where you have the most amount of tightness. Because if you have a tight adductor on one side, you'll probably notice that one side can go down while the other one really struggles. So really try to bring everything in balance as much as you can. But this is how we can take it to the next level, engage some more muscles, and hopefully get more relief. So let's go back up like this. What I'm going to do this time around, as I lower my feet towards the floor, I'm going to turn my feet outward as much as I can, focusing on moving, rotating through my hips. So let's turn our feet out and then eyes. With this exercise, we're going to focus on the hip flexor muscles, notably the iliopsoas, which is found out. What we're going to do is lie flat on our back like this. Have your legs roughly hip width apart and just raise your knees up. Have them right around 90 degrees. So my knees are just pointed right towards the ceiling. Let's start off by overlapping our hands. Let your arms and hands win this battle too. The more that you're going to feel, but if it feels like you have a little bit more energy, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or 2. So let's take this one to the next level and do what is called the marching bridge. It's kind of similar to that clamshell bridge that we did earlier, but now what we're going to do is slowly take one leg like this, bend our knee at 90 degrees, and then try to drive.
Naliona hilo zoezi, na hilo zoezi ni muhimu sana. Japo kuna wengine itakuwa challenge, kuna wengine ambao wanaweza wakati unafanya hilo zoezi wanaweza kupata maumivu, lakini ukipata maumivu siku ya kwanza, ukafanya siku ya pili, basi siku ya tatu hutopata hayo maumivu. So hili zoezi ni muhimu sana. Ukilifanyia kazi vizuri, basi itakusaidia kuweza kuondoa maumivu.
That knee towards our chest as much as we can. When you do this, you're going to feel a really good activation of the hip flexors. So hold this for a second or 2, relax, and then just like a marching motion, you're going to do this on both sides. And with each repetition, try to drive that knee towards your chest or 2. If the exercises help, please support the channel by giving this.
Kwa hiyo kama unavyoona, hilo ndo zoezi letu la Kegel. Kwa hiyo hili zoezi linafanyika ni kwamba unanyanyua nyonga juu. Hakikisha miguu yako na nyonga inakuwa kwenye position inayoeleweka. The way, yani fanya the way anavyoelekeza. So hili zoezi, japo kuna watu wengine wanaweza kufanya wakahisi maumivu, lakini ni zoezi ambalo ni nzuri sana kwenye kupunguza maumivu katika korodani.
And then from what I'm going to do is now take my heels and press them gently into the bed to activate the glutes a little bit more. And then I'm just going to lift my hips upward towards the ceiling until my body is in a nice straight line from my knees to my hips to my shoulders. If you're unable to...
Kwa hiyo unaona the way alivyofanya, wewe angalia miguu yake ilivyo. Angalia hapa sehemu distance ya mguu na huu. Angalia nyonga yake ilivyo. Basi na wewe hivyo hivyo ndio inabidi ufanye.
To get into this position because of weakness or pain, do the best you can. But in this position, you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire, but I really feel it around my scrotum, around the groin. Hold this comfortably for about 5 seconds, relax. and then repeat this 10 times. Afterwards, see how you feel. If it feels like you have a little bit more energy and this is helping out, challenge yourself by throwing in another set or two. Here's a really good exercise called the frog rocker. For this
zoezi lingine linaitwa hii hapo frog position. Na hili zoezi ni muhimu sana, especially kama wewe una varicocele au una hydrocele. Hili zoezi ni muhimu sana.
This one we're going to start on all fours on a floor. What we want to do first is take our feet, put them together, and then wing our knees outward as much as we can until we feel a gentle stretch right here on the inner part of our thigh that works towards our groin. That way we are really going to target our adductors. Once we feel that, we're then going to take our hands and crawl forward just a little bit until we feel a gentle stretch in our upper back. Once we feel that, we're then going to hold that position. Tuck your chin towards your chest, and now just rock your whole body backward like this, taking your butt towards your heels. The more that you go back, the more that you're going to feel that deep stretch intensify that goes down into the groins, across the pelvic floor, and the hips. Hold this one comfortably for 20 to 30 seconds and do nice, slow, controlled breathing. Let out as much tension as you can. From there, just rock forward, take a breather. On the next repetition, challenge yourself to stretch into it just a little bit more, and just repeat this over and over again for about 3 to 5 repetitions. This is how we're going to take it to the next level and do a little bit more strengthening to hopefully get some long-lasting relief. We're going to do what is called the hydrant. So let's get back onto all fours like this and have our knees roughly hip-width apart. What I'm going to do is keep one knee bent roughly at 90 degrees and just lift my body up just a little bit on that side so my knee is hovering just about an inch above the floor. What we're going to do from here is rotate our whole body like this, bringing our knee upward towards the ceiling. The more that you lift that leg and that knee upward towards the ceiling, the more that you're going to feel a ton of muscles start to fire, including the glutes that works into the pelvic floor towards the groin. Focus on feeling it around the groin. Once you feel that, hold this comfortably for 5 seconds, relax, and then repeat it on the other side. I like to do this one about 5 times on both sides. But if it feels like you have a little bit more energy and this exercise is really helping you out,